So I was shooting a show last night, and there's actually a couple people in the pit that were pretty new to concert photography. And one of them came up and asked me a bunch of questions. And most of his questions had to do with the equipment he was using. And I realized that, maybe this isn't common knowledge to everybody. So I just want to share a little bit with you guys. So he was using an older Sony, which is fine, but he had a kit lens. And a kit lens typically is not going to be a fast, sharp lens. When you're doing concerts, a lot of times you want a zoom lens, you want, a 24 to 72.8, but those lenses cost thousands of dollars. So the tip that I have is you can do a lot with a decent body, but a good lens. And the best way to get a fast, sharp lens in the beginning is to buy a prime lens. So when I first started shooting concerts, 13, 14, 15 years ago, I used a 50 millimeter 1.8 for the longest time. And it doesn't work for every venue. It doesn't work for every show. But when you're first starting out and you're shooting smaller places and you're right at the barricade and the band is right there, a 50 1.8 will do wonders for you. So the thing about photography, if you don't know, there's aperture, there's shutter, and then there's ISO. So shutter is time, the amount of time that you let light in. And aperture is how much light you let in. So the smaller the number of the lens, 1.4, 1.8, f2, that is going to be a wider opening, which lets more light in. So you're able to shoot at darker venues, darker shows at a faster shutter speed. In order for there not to be blur when you're shooting concerts, you usually need at least 2/50th of a second, 1/250, so the photos aren't blurry. So if you don't have the best camera, if you're not shooting with a newer camera that you can push the ISO past a certain point, your best bet is to get a prime lens to start. So this is what we talked about last night, and it's going to be a lot better for you to invest in a good lens than it is to invest in the best camera, and that's just the way it is. Modern cameras now, any modern camera will do a good job, but if the lens you're using isn't good, there's not much you can do about that. So that's my advice. That's a little bit of advice, that we talked about last night about, specifically shooting concerts. I would recommend at least a 2.8 minimum, but if you could get a 1.8 or 1.4, that's even better, because some of the places you're going to shoot are going to have terrible lighting, and you're going to need a faster lens with a larger opening, a bigger aperture for light to come in so you can get good photos. So I just thought I'd share that information with you guys too, in case you didn't know. If you have any questions about concert photography or photography in general, feel free to drop a comment, but I'll leave some information here and there. Thanks for watching.